Tired of the same old fruitcake? Try these! Hi everyone, welcome to Weekend Cupcakes. I'm Susan, and today I'm going to show you 8 different Christmas themed cupcakes, plus one bonus cupcake at the end, so stay tuned. I'm going to start with 2 different Christmas trees and a wreath. By the way, these cupcakes are frozen. It just makes them easier to work with. The 3 cupcakes are going to have a white base, so I started by cutting the domes off and flat icing them. In this case, the great thing about flat icing the cupcake is it creates a crumb coat. So I'm going to use the Wilton 1A with white buttercream and pipe a big dollop on each cupcake. 2 of them will be turned over onto a parchment paper. For the third one, I want to add some sprinkles around the edge, so I'm going to use my offset spatula to spread out the dollop. Then dip the edge of the frosting into the sprinkles. Now I'm going to turn it over onto the parchment paper. These will go into the freezer for 10 minutes. Alright, we pulled our cupcakes out of the freezer, so let's make a Christmas tree. This one is going to lie flat. I'm using a cake tester to mark out a triangle on the cupcake. If you don't have a cake tester, you can use a toothpick, a fork, a knife, whatever's handy. Using a Wilton 5 with brown frosting, let's tighten the bag, and then we're going to pipe the trunk of the tree. Now using a Wilton 21 with green frosting, we're going to pipe some shells. I'm going to stay within the lines that I made on the cupcake. Now we can decorate the tree with sprinkles and put a star on top. To finish it off, I'm going to put some white frosting on my spatula and spread it on each side of the tree, and then gently tap the frosting to give it some texture. And just like that, your first cupcake is done. For the next tree, we're using the cupcake that has the sprinkles on it. I've inserted a pocky stick to give the tree some stability. And then, oh crap, it's not sticking. Let's put that there.
Yeah.
And one last dollop. Ugh. See, maybe we need the pokey stick.
Maybe we need the pokey stick.
We need the pokey stick. All right. Using the Wilton 8B with green frosting, we're going to create 4 dollops, one on top of the other. Hold the tip slightly above the cupcake, then squeeze the frosting and let it balloon out. All right, let's do the second one. Each one should be smaller than the last. Now we can decorate the tree with sprinkles and put a star on top. It's a little lopsided, but I like it. For the third cupcake, we're going to be making a wreath. Using the Wilton 21 with the green frosting, we are going to go in a circular motion all around the cupcake. I like to use the turntable for this one, but it's not necessary. You can just hold it in your hand and turn it. If you need to tighten your bag, just stop and tighten it, and then continue where you left off. Where the wreath connects, we're going to add some flowers using the Wilton 224, which is a closed star tip. Just give your wrist a little twist. Now you can add some shiny sprinkles and voila! Next we're going to do a candy cane swirl. For this we'll need some plastic wrap. Using a Wilton 2A with white frosting and a coupler with red frosting, let's pipe some rows on the plastic wrap, alternating between white and red. Then we'll roll up the plastic wrap to make some kind of frosting sausage. Once the frosting is rolled up, we're going to twist both ends of the plastic wrap. We'll need to cut one end off. Next, very carefully place the frosting roll in a piping bag with a tip. I'm using a Wilton 8B, but you can also get a great effect with a round tip. Now we do a swirl with the candy cane frosting. Holding the bag straight up, start at the edge of the cupcake and work your way around the edge. When you come to your starting point, move up and over the edge, working your way towards the center until you come to a point. Mesmerizing. Our next cupcake is a snowman. Using the Wilton 1A with white frosting, we are going to pipe a big swirl that will cover the entire cupcake. If you want to, you can smooth it out with an offset spatula. We're going to do a second swirl on top, but a little smaller and off-center. And a third swirl, also off-center and a little smaller. Finish it off with a dollop on top and keep it flat. And you do this by removing pressure and then removing your tip by pulling it to the side instead of pulling up. I'm going to put this in the fridge to make the frosting a bit harder. This will make it easier to put the rest of the details on the snowman. Okay, the cupcake is out of the fridge and the frosting's a bit more firm. I'm going to use a Wilton 2 with black frosting to create the eyes, mouth, and arms. Using the Wilton 3 with orange frosting, I'm going to pipe the carrot nose. Now I'm going to remove the tip and clean it so I can use it with the lime green frosting. Okay, the tip is clean and I've put it on the lime green frosting so I can pipe the buttons. And there you have it, a snowman cupcake. Now for a Christmas flower, the poinsettia. I have a bag of red frosting with the Color Mill 353 large leaf tip, but you can also use the Wilton 366 or the Ateco 353. As you can see, I flat iced the cupcake with some red. Place your tip around a ½ inch in from the edge of the cupcake. Squeeze your bag and let the frosting spread out and then pull away. Pipe 5 to 6 petals around the cupcake. Move your tip in and do a second row in between the first set of petals and do another 5 to 6 petals. Do a third row, but make the petals smaller. You should have a gap in the center. Using a Wilton 2 with lime green frosting, pipe little buds in the center. Now I'm going to remove the piping tip and clean it so I can use it with the yellow frosting. The tip has been cleaned and put on the yellow frosting. Place the end of the piping tip into the green buds and pipe a yellow dot. Now you can leave it there or you can take it up a notch by painting a tiny red dot using a food safe brush and some red gel coloring. Using the Wilton 352 with green frosting, pipe some leaves around the edge of the cupcake. And just like that, you have a poinsettia. Our next cupcake is going to be some pine cones and holly. I filled my bag with 2 tones of brown. We're going to start by piping 3 cones. As you can see, I'm not using a piping tip. I'm using an Atico coupler, which is perfectly round, unlike the Wilton couplers that have a notch in them. It's a convenient trick when you just need to make a blob or a cone. Now let's add the Atico 79 onto that coupler. If you don't have an Atico 79, you can use a Wilton 80 or 81, which are all medium-sized petal tips. Starting from the bottom, pipe each petal around the cone and work your way up the cone. Repeat this for each pine cone. Now using the Wilton 352 with the green frosting, pipe some leaves in the open spaces, but leave some room close to the pine cones. Using the Wilton 3, pipe some red dots for the holly berries. Pine cones never looked so delicious. Our last cupcake will be a triple design with a white rose, a pine cone, and some holly. And we're going to start with the rose using a Wilton 104 tip. Start by piping a small dome, then pipe a spiral around the top. This will be the center of the rose. Then pipe little petals and arches around the center. For the second row, overlap the petals from the first row. Keep going until you have a small rose. Next, the pine cone. Using your coupler, pipe a cone. Then add the Atico 79 tip. Pipe the petals all around the bottom and work your way up to the top. For the holly, I'm going to use a Wilton 352 and pipe leaves in the open spaces around the cupcake. Using Wilton 3, pipe red holly berries in the center of the leaves. I'm also going to add some green and brown branches with the Wilton 2 to fill out the rest of the space. And that's the last cupcake. So there you have it, folks, 8 marvelous Christmas cupcakes. But wait, I haven't revealed the bonus cupcake yet. Here it comes. It wouldn't be Christmas without Santa Claus. If you want to see how I made this one, check out my next video. Happy holidays!